I'm Tim Kotzman here with the founder and CEO of Athletes and Assets, Noah Lack. Noah, great to be with you today.
Thanks. And that was a heck of an intro for your very first podcast intro. I think you may have something here.
We shall see.
Yeah, we shall see. But that was pretty good. I mean, usually when I speak, I'm like, welcome to Athletes and Assets. I'm your host, Noah Lack, and I do like 3 takes. For that to be your first take, that was pretty good.
There's nothing wrong with enthusiasm, being a little passionate. So you are from Houston,
yes,
Texas originally. Tell me a little bit about background growing up.
Yeah, I'm from Houston, Texas. Grew up in a very, I wouldn't say, it wasn't country, it was a suburb of Houston, but very, traditional, conservative, good old Houston, hunting, fishing. And me and my friends, we played every sport growing up. And football, basketball, track, baseball.
What was your favorite sport growing up?
Baseball was my first love, I think, before basketball. I think baseball, before I knew what steroids were and stuff, like I used to love Barry Bonds, and Barry Bonds was the man. And I'm actually good friends with his daughter. But like I loved baseball at first.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And take us on the journey from your love of baseball all the way through present day with Athletes and Assets and everything you're doing there.
Yeah, sure. So, well, my love of baseball was like when I was like 5, 6, 7. So I'll try to speed up between now until Athletes and Assets.
Just a few years.
Yeah, sure. That was kind of like the first sport, but then basketball quickly took over my life. It's been my whole life, up until my last days in college. And even right before I started my first job in venture, basketball was everything to me. So, I was very fortunate to go to California and play basketball for Santa Clara University. They did not recruit me. I had offers from a bunch of other schools.
Okay.
Man, when I saw the California postcard, I was like, I want to go there. Like that looks really cool. Great weather. It's like beautiful people. I was like, man, this is kind of cool. I want to, try this out. And what I really liked about the Bay Area, especially, in San Jose area, it's got the California vibe, but everyone's pretty genuine. Santa Clara, I've had made some incredible friends for life. And it's not kind of like the fake sort of Hollywood vibe. That's kind of, I think, more Southern California. And so I think I've really found my kind of space there. But the pandemic ended my basketball career. I played 3 years, not 4. I had more eligibility, but to speed it up, there was a lot of reasons why I, didn't decide not to continue my basketball career, and started the podcast during the pandemic, January 2021, the end of my senior year of college. And I've been doing it for 3.5 years now.
Very cool. What are some of the highlights when you just think back on the last couple of years and the interviews you've done and the journey in general? What kind of comes top of mind?
When you make really good content or you make genuine content, the stars align and things work for you. I was giving a speech at Rice University because of my podcast talking about entrepreneurship, and I did a live podcast with, at that time, the highest paid NWSL player in history and my former classmate, Maria Sanchez. And we did a podcast at Rice, and it was from the entrepreneurship MBA program. And at that time, I got into the MBA program at Rice and deferred to see what would happen to Athletes and Assets. And now I'm actually not going to go get it. I'm going all in on A&A because of, what we have here. And someone asked the question after the podcast, well, who do you want on your podcast? Who's your dream guest? And I was like, Joe Montana. I want Joe Montana to come on my podcast.
Absolutely.
3 months later in San Francisco, I'm sitting here across the couch with Joe Montana, and we shoot like the best podcast. And he's still someone I still talk to, in sports today. So the ability to manifest stuff through content because people can see you. I think content is some of people's best resume. It's how I get to know. It's how people will know Tim. If you do enough content, people will know you a lot faster than some of your LP reports. And I'm sure those are really good. Don't get me mistaken. But this, if you're genuine, this is you. So I think that's been the coolest part.
Very cool. Where do you see Athletes and Assets going over the next 3 to 5 years?
I see Athletes and Assets becoming one of the largest and most impactful media companies we've ever seen, because you're taking someone, an athlete, who is incredibly well-known and influential for one thing, but actually being a catalyst for another. And I think we are at the intersection of many different things changing in our society, how we learn, how we consume, and who we look up to. Sports are still some of the most purest forms of entertainment, and athletes are looked at as highly in regard as political figures, as other entertainers. And because the world is changing and things have happened in sports such as NIL, the collective bargaining agreements, now athletes actually have more authority in other industries.
Okay.
And so the crazy thing is like, okay, let's use content and leverage them to be the authority figures in industries and be able to give people a different way of consuming business. And so I think in 3 to 5 years, we'll have our podcast network up and running. We'll have our newsletters, and we'll think about expanding into a fund. We'll have our merch clothing line. This will be will be the biggest athlete-driven company in the country.
Awesome. Where can viewers and athletes reach out to you and contact you?
Yeah. Noah at athletesandassets.com. That's my email. First name at athletesandassets.com. Yeah. And, you can check us out on all platforms: Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you consume content. You want to see these interactions, you go to YouTube. On the way to the gym, the audio, thanks to my guy Matt, has been very consumable if you just want to listen to the audio. So
very cool. Well, thanks for hanging out today.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for being a good host. I think you can keep doing this if you wanted to.
All right, we're going to keep it going.
All right.
Thanks.